So here is a hanging solar fountain that all the birds love. So here is a fun, easy fountain to make, but I have a disclaimer and I'm going to have to let you know right now. It's not working here for me. The poor hummingbirds cannot use it. They come to it, as you can see here, and then they get knocked away by the Orioles because they took it over. Anytime a hummingbird goes near it, they're attacked by the Orioles. They've decided, all of them, that this fountain belongs to them. This is a fun hanging fountain, so you can hang this anywhere you want. Of course, you could make it in a bowl and sit it on a table if you want instead. But I used a hanger from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make it and how fun it is. And all you need is a straw and some sort of stick. It could be a twig, it could be a skewer. And be aware, if you've got Orioles, they're not going to let anybody near this fun fountain. Except for some of the birds that may be a little bigger than them. Like this is a grosbeak. And yes, that grosbeak pushed the Orioles over. And these hanging fountains are perfect because you can hang them up, keep them away from cats, and you can put them in a place where you can watch all the birds come and enjoy them. Let's get into how to make this. So here is how we're going to put together this fun single floating fountain. Now this one, as you see when I open the box, is a single disc. There's no solar panel. The solar panels are on the top that's facing the sun. So if they get too shaded, at times they will go off. Sometimes a big bird sits in there and it shuts it off. And the moment they move, it turns it back on. Then you'll need a bowl. And what I'm using here, because you can use any type of foam on the top for a cover on the water, I'm using those packing envelopes that come when you order something in the mail. They're perfect. It's like bubble wrap and it floats really good. So all you have to do is make a circle around your bowl. So you're going to make it the same size or a little smaller. Now keep in mind, most of your birds do swim, but this is just to keep everything in one place. Like when the floating disc, if it moved around too much, it could float to the side and it can pump your water out. This kind of gives a surface for small birds to come and land on. They can take a bath on it, and it just works. Let me tell you, I've been making these and it works perfect. That's all you need to get started on this, and then I'll show you here how you're going to cut the center out. So you're going to lay your solar fountain, the disc, on the plastic and just go with a pin all the way around, and then you're going to fold it in half so you'll have a perfect circle, kind of line it up, and just cut. Now you're going to have the center trimmed out, and you'll be able to put your disc, your floating disc, right in the middle, back in the bowl. And it gives a little bit of protection to the water, and it gives a surface, like I said, for the birds to land on. Now look over your fountain and see if you've got a plastic protected film on it, which this one does. You take that off. If you don't remove that, it could melt on a warm day onto your solar panel. Some of them come with it and some of them don't. So don't try to pull anything off that isn't supposed to be pulled off. Now these are all the attachments that come to it to make spraying and different types of water coming out. You don't need those. Here we're only going to use the one center piece that goes in the center because we're going to make lift here. It's a lot of fun. If you spray in a bowl, use the other attachments, it's going to spray out. So that's why we cannot use that. So now we're going to make a straw. This is a jumbo straw. I get them for like $2 for 50 of them. You can get them at most any grocery store, party store. They're just called jumbo straws. And you're going to use a regular drinking straw. Now you're going to make it fit to that piece you saw on the top. Usually it fits pretty good. If it's too big, I'll show you ways to make it smaller. If it's too small, well, then we'll have to make it a little bigger. But generally, they're really a little too big, and it's much easier to make it smaller on there. Now we're going to trim it, and we can't go that high. This pump is not that strong enough. So we're going to cut it, maybe 4 inches. You don't need a whole lot of straw, but you can cut it a little taller, and then if it doesn't work right, you can always cut it shorter afterwards. And then we're going to take a soldering iron. You can take a hot needle any way you can, and you're going to make a hole in the straw. Now the reason is we're going to stick a little perch through the top of the straw so small birds can sit on top, hopefully hummingbirds, but like I told you earlier, the Orioles have taken this one over. You can use a twig if you find a nice branch off a tree, or you can use a dowel like a skewer, which I prefer, and then you can slide that through. And make sure when you put your perch in there that it doesn't go past the bowl, or the water can run on the perch and go out of your bowl. So just make sure when you trim it that the water, if it runs on the perch, will go back into the bowl. And that's all there is to it. It is that easy to do and so simple to make. So here I had to go back and make the hole a little bit bigger for the skewer because the branch was thinner. Then you just slide that through and that's all you need. Now the other thing you're going to have to do is make sure that the stick is shorter than the bowl, because if you left it too long, the water will drip and go over the side, which you don't want. So you just decide how long you want it. I marked it, and then what I do is with my scissors, I make kind of a mark on it. I start to cut it, and then what you do is you snap it and you have it done. It's that quick and that easy to make. Now, all the floating fountains like this and this style are different. Some are just foam and some have a plastic foam. This one's got plastic, but thank goodness I have my handy dandy soldering iron, so it will go through the plastic rim all the way around into the foam. And I'm making 4 holes because I'm going to stick 4 skewers in there. This way it will not move at all. It will not sink. It will not do anything. And that's because the bowl is tapered. So once it's in place and the plastic that from the packing slip is there like that, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to sit on top of the skewers. It's going to look nice, neat, and clean, and it will hold your disc in place so it cannot accidentally float to the side and spill any water out at all. And then all you have to do after you get all the skewers in there is just shorten it so it is long enough to sit on the top of the bowl, but they're too long to drop down to the narrow part of the bowl. Keep in mind, I'm not a fan of clear bowls, but I just want you to see how this works. I prefer bowls that have color to them, blue or green or red or whatever, but the clear ones always show a little bit of algae, green algae, which is natural to start to grow, and it just kind of gets discolored. Even though you can clean it, bleach it, it just goes off color for you, just because that's what clear bowls do. But that is it. Now it is ready to put outside. Can you see the whole thing? That's why I love using clear bowls when I'm making fountains, to show how easy it is to make. Now you're going to put it outside in whatever hanging basket you've got. These are made for plants and they're really cheap. Like I said, I got mine at Dollar Tree, the whole setup for $1.25. You can get fancier ones for a few more dollars at any of the garden stores. You get what you want. Fill it with water and see how the disc drops on there? Look at that. It can't move to the side. It's really sturdy and it can't even sink down too much because the skewers are going to hold it in place. You now have a beautiful hanging fountain in a clear bowl that is just swinging out there for the birds to come and enjoy. Isn't that attractive and pretty? And look at the little goldfinch that came in to sneak a drink before the Orioles saw him. And look at the grosbeak. Isn't that adorable? That's a pretty big bird having a blast standing on top of that pad we put there, being able to get wet but not have to sink. So they come in and splash. I've seen doves come in, house finches, mockingbirds, all kinds of birds come in. And I'm telling you, this has been wonderful. I haven't made too many hanging solar fountains. This is not just a bird bath. It's a hanging fountain. You can hang it anywhere. If you got a cat can't reach it when it's hanging. This is beautiful to put on a patio or a porch or any place that you can hang a fountain. It's a solar fountain. You've got running water all day, but it will have to be in the sun because the disc needs the sun. Look at these two. They look like 2 clowns. Each one's trying to take a bath and wants the other one out. It's just too funny. And I'll tell you, the only problem with this is you want to just sit there and watch them. It's so hard to walk away when you see all the birds taking a bath and having a blast. So I hope you enjoy making this because this has been fun. I'll show you in a few minutes how to make that straw either bigger or smaller. And that is really easy to use. Anyone can find this straw. It's easier than looking for tubing, and the tubing's more expensive. And in the evening when the Orioles disappear, the hummingbirds protect the fountain. I guess they're just staking a claim, thinking in the morning they can have it. Now what you're going to do is if your straw is too big for your fountain, you're going to take another piece of the straw and you're going to split it. Then you put the split one on the center where your fountain is and push it on. If you need, you can put 2 pieces. It's that easy. Now if your straw is a little bit too small, put it on the end of a very warm glue gun and you can stretch it. That's all there is to it. So I hope it gave you some fun tips and ideas on how to make a hanging solar fountain, not just a bird bath, a running water fountain. So with that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. And I guess I got to make a whole lot more. Bye-bye.